Hello everyone, and welcome to another video, and welcome to another collection of scams that never went anywhere. Having made the last video when Celia was in a bad mood, well, I was in a bad mood because I was sleep deprived, Celia discovered she was having way too much fun being horrible to them right from the start. Celia had clearly got herself on a list of potential victims, and she was receiving dozens, well, actually hundreds of friend requests. So she decided to be horrible to a few more of them and see what happened. She didn't get a chance to be horrible to Richard. He was too stupid right from the start. I mean, come on, if you're going to tell me you're on a ship, there are a few basics you should read up on first. Hello, he said. Hi, said Celia. How are you doing, he asked. I'm fine, thanks, said Celia. How are you? I'm cool, he said. Thanks for asking. Where are you chatting from? I live in Durham, she said. It's in the north of England. Where are you? I'm from Lakeland, Florida, he said, but currently here in the ship, working with the Carnival Cruise Line Company. That sounds fun, said Celia. What do you do on the ship? Well, he said, I'm a chief mechanical engineer, working currently on the ship. What's your profession? I'm administrator, said Celia. I work in the admissions department of our university. Which ship are you on? That's nice, he said. I'm working with the Carnival cruise ship. You said that, said Celia. Which ship are you on? Don't know the Carnival ship? He asked. Which ship? Asked Celia. That's the third time I've asked. Faced with such a difficult question, a man blocked Celia. Kelvin Terry thought he'd try his luck with Celia. Hello, he said. How are you doing? I'm fine, thanks, said Celia. I don't recognise your name. Do I know you? Terry Kelvin, he said. It's my first time chatting with you. OK, she said, so I don't know you. To which our man helpfully replied, Knowing process. Start from first day. Celia had developed a standard paragraph that she was going to use that morning. Please know that I only accept random friend requests from people who want a proper conversation. Not from the idiots who keep asking me if I've eaten breakfast or what the weather condition is in your country, and I have no idea what a knowing process is. LOL, he said. Is that how you want to address military general? I hope that means you want a proper conversation, said Celia. Yep, he said. Too old for games. Because, she continued, they actually cross-posted, I'm not in the military, so pulling rank won't help you. May I ask how old you are? Just letting you know, he said. I'm 59. You? OK, she said. I'm 55. Are you married with kids? He asked. I'm widowed, she said, with an adult son. Dan lives in Sydney in Australia with his girlfriend. That's nice, he said. I'm widower with 2 sons. Where are you located? I live in Durham in the north of England, she said. Do you have grandchildren? I've got my both kids in Texas, he said. Didn't give birth on time, but sons growing to become men. What on earth does that mean? Said Celia. I said I want a proper conversation. I'm not interested in talking to idiots who write meaningless rubbish. Excuse me, he said. No, I won't, said Celia. Are you pushing insults at me? He asked. You said you're a mature gentleman, said Celia. At least write something that makes sense. A, you didn't give birth. You're a man. Are you the type that fast forward into conclusion? He said. B, what on earth does didn't give birth on time mean? My Dan was 2 weeks late, but it isn't so remarkable that I tell people. My bad, he said. Let that be. Go away, said Celia. Are you the type that fast forward into conclusion? It's just a collection of words. It doesn't mean anything. Goodbye. I'm asking you, he said. Do you jump into consideration conclusion without thinking? That doesn't mean anything either, said Celia. Then you don't understand, he said. I told you very clearly, she said, that I want someone who can have a proper conversation. You can't even write English, so goodbye. What are you looking for in a partner? He tried. Someone who can have a proper conversation. In English, said Celia. I'm looking for a woman with good heart, caring, loving, understand and honest woman to be with as a loving wife till the end of this lifetime. Good luck finding someone, said Celia. I'm often described with words such as God-fearing, a simple man, nice, deep, romantic. I certainly thank God for my life. treating all around me with respect and integrity." "I can't imagine who'd say that," said Celia. "I am honest, and I don't like to lie, and I hate lies and deception." "No, you aren't," said Celia. "Don't judge book by cover," he said. "Then make a better cover," said Celia. "Interesting," he said. "Are you married?" "Can't you be bothered to read what I've already written?" said Celia. "Didn't see read that part, but guessed I did just now," he tried. "What do you do for fun?" To which Celia replied, "Talk to brain-dead morons like you. What do you do for fun?" Unsurprisingly, our man disappeared. He was followed by Nelson Nicky, who prefers to call himself Michael Miller. Things got off to the usual start. "Where are you from?" he asked. "I live in Durham," said Celia. "Where are you from?" "I'm from USA," he said, "but I live in Scotland. I'm working in Scotland. Are you married or single?" "I'm a widow," she said. "I lost my husband 3 years ago. Where are you working in Scotland?" "Oh, sorry about your husband," he said. "I'm working in Glasgow." "What are you doing in Glasgow?" asked Celia. "What's your occupation?" he said. "I'm an administrator. I work in the admissions office of the University of Durham," said Celia. "I'm working in Glasgow," he said. "I'm an engineer." "You have a good high-profile job. That's nice," he said, rubbing his hands in glee, wondering how much money he could steal from her. "What kind of engineer?" asked Celia. "What do you actually do in Glasgow?" "I'm a civil engineer," he said. "Why do you have only few photos in your profile?" "Yes," she said, "but what do you actually do?" "Because my profile is private. Why do people have to put their whole lives on Facebook for everyone to see? What do you actually do?" And that, of course, was the point at which their relationship started to go downhill. Faced with a difficult question, like, "What do you actually do?" our man resorted to Google. "I plan, design and oversee construction and maintenance of building structures and infrastructure such as roads, railways, airports, bridges, harbours, dams, irrigation projects, power plants and water and sewerage systems." "OK," said Celia. "Which of those do you actually do? You can't possibly be doing all of those. I can't imagine there are many irrigation projects in Glasgow." "Who are you living with?" he asked. "What are you doing now in Glasgow?" said Celia. "I'm not answering any more questions until you tell me what you're doing in Glasgow. I've told you what I do and who I work for." "Didn't I tell you what I do?" asked our poor confused scammer, who had no idea that just saying "I'm a civil engineer" wasn't good enough. "No," said Celia. "You told me the definition of a civil engineer. I asked what you were doing in Glasgow. How many irrigation projects are you working on in Glasgow?" "I'm basically based in building construction projects," he said. "How many airports are you constructing?" asked Celia, "while simultaneously building a bridge, a harbour, damming Glasgow" sounds dangerous, "and building a power plant, not to mention all those railways you're building in Glasgow. What kind of construction projects? What are you actually constructing?" Struggling, our scammer tried. "I'm only trying to tell you the jobs of a civil engineer, but I'm basically based on building construction projects in Glasgow. Buildings." "I asked what you do, not what a civil engineer does," said Celia. "What are you building? Who do you work for? Why is this so difficult? I told you who I work for and what I do in about 2 sentences." "I work as a building contractor," he said. "Yes," said Celia. "Dimwit. What are you building? What were you building today?" "I have generalised my answer, dear," he said, trying to dig himself out of the hole. First rule of holes, of course, is when you're in one, stop digging. But apparently nobody had told our man that. "I don't need to start listing the contracts that I'm currently working on now." "Well, stop generalising," said Celia, "and tell me what you are doing right now and who you work for." "Yes," she said. "List the contracts you're currently working on now." "Mackenzie Construction Limited," he said. "And what do you do for Mackenzie Construction Limited?" asked Celia. And if the person that you're talking to online keeps giving you generalisations for their job, "I'm an engineer," "I'm a surgeon," but can't actually tell you what they've done at work, or what they're building or constructing, or where they work, just think very carefully about who you might be talking to. In reply to Celia saying yes, List the contracts you're currently working on now. He said, Why will I do that? Because I just asked you to, said Celia. I've said that repeatedly, he said in reply to her asking what he did for Mackenzie Construction. You've not once told me what you do, said Celia, and this is your last chance. She started one of those infamous counts of 10. He wasn't happy. Do I look like a kid to you? He said. Stop giving me time. You're acting like a 15-year-old, she said, so I guess you are using someone else's photo. Goodbye. If you really want us to talk, he said. I don't want us to talk, said Celia. Besides, this is not an interview section, he said. You won't even answer a simple question, said Celia. I simply asked you what you did at work today. What do you expect a contractor to do at work today? He said. I expect them to do whatever work their contract is for, replied Celia. You do know what your contract is for. And I know I've said this before, but most of these Nigerian scammers seem to think that being a contractor means that you're the boss. And to prove that, our man's reply was, My job is to hire workers and supervise the workers. Blimey, said Celia, why did that take you so long to tell me? So you aren't constructing anything. Are you an administrator in the HR office? To which our man replied, I construct. What do you construct? Asked Celia. Celia accused him of lying and told him that he couldn't be constructing and be responsible for hiring workers. Or, she said, you can just go away, because I'm tired of talking to an imbecile who doesn't even know what he did at work today. I hire people that follows me to field work. I'm not an HR. HR hires people that works for the organisation. I hire ordinary labourers to make the job that is assigned to me more easier. I hope you understood that, folks. And after a few more exchanges, they parted company. Then Celia received a friend request from this profile. I'm not going to try and pronounce that name. Google seems to think it might be in Danish, but if any of my viewers can tell me what it says, please do leave it in phonetics below. I haven't blurred the face either, because that's a very old photograph of the ex-UK Prime Minister David Cameron. I think his photographs are widely available online. Hello, Celia, he said. How are you? Good morning, sir, said Celia, feeling as Denise did when she was contacted by Prince Andrew, but maybe a little bit of respect was in order. May I ask which language you've changed your name to, and how you pronounce it, she asked. LOL, he said. Well, I'm David. Yes, said Celia, I know that. I was getting spam message, so I had to confuse the name, he said. Oh dear, said Celia, LOL. Yeah, said our ex-Prime Minister. How are it going with you? Fine, thanks, she said. Good to know, he said. Where are you from? I live in Durham, said Celia. Where are you living now? I'm from Texas, he said, but currently in Europe, North Sea, on a contract trip. ROFL, said Celia. You don't need to pretend. I know who you are. What do you mean? Asked our poor scammer. Up until then, because he was using the name David, I thought maybe he had realised whose photos he was using, but then I changed my mind. Maybe he was just told to say he was David. What I said, David, said Celia. I do know who you are. Who am I? He asked. Ha ha, said Celia. Very funny. Tell me, he said, what you know about me. I know you resigned a few years ago, said Celia. Then Teresa replaced you, trying not to give him too many clues to make him do a bit of work. A man went off and did a reverse image search on the photo he was using and came back a few minutes later having worked it out and said, Resigned from politics or engineering? I resigned from politics, not engineering. Exactly, said Celia. So I know you don't live in Texas. That's where I am now, he tried. OK, said Celia. Before I left for my contract, he added. What's your contract for? She asked. Oil rig drilling. Goodness, said Celia. I didn't know you did that. How'd you find the time? Well, he said, I resigned because I wanted to face my job. No, he didn't. He resigned because of Brexit. Where are you right now? Asked Celia. At work. North Sea. Where in the North Sea? Asked Celia, dreading the answer, You know what these geographically challenged scammers are like. So he sent her a photo. I'll enlarge it for you in a minute. It's in the Europe axis, said the ex-British PM to a citizen of his own country. I know where the North Sea is, silly, said Celia. I asked you where in the North Sea you are, not where is the North Sea. I thought I told you. Europe, he said. North Sea? You did, said Celia. I know where the North Sea is. I'll ask again. Where in the North Sea are you? You know, which part of the North Sea are you on? Which country are you closest to? Where was that photo taken? Too many questions at a time, said our poor beleaguered ex-Prime Minister, who of course used to cope with Prime Minister's question time. One question, said Celia. Where on the North Sea are you? Which one? He asked. The photo you just sent me, dingbat, said Celia. So, resorting to Google, and I'll show you where he got it from in a minute, our man came back with between Great Britain, Norway, Jutland, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Hauts-de-France, with apologies for pronunciation on that last bit. A quote that Google found on several websites. If you're talking to someone online, then you're a bit suspicious of something they've said, because it doesn't match the style of language they were using previously. Copy and paste a sentence or two into Google. Use quotation marks, put one at either end of what you're looking for, and that forces Google to search for the entire quotation. No, said Celia. Where was that photo taken? What's the land that you can see in it? Which country? Does it matter? He asked. Yes, said Celia. It doesn't, he said. It does, said Celia. How can an eminent politician such as yourself not even know where he is? There is no land in the photo, he said. Look at it very well. And here's the full version of that photo, so that you can look at it very well. Perhaps you should look at it very well, said Celia, sending him part of the photograph, you know, the bit with land in it. And when you have, she added, tell me where that land is. You know, the land in your photo. I don't answer your question, because I owe you no explanation, he said. Go away, said Celia. You're clearly a brainless idiot. I mean, come on, you send me a photo and then refuse to tell me where it's taken. How stupid is that? Are you okay? He asked. Goodbye, said Celia. I'm fine, but you clearly aren't. How can you not even know where your own photo was taken? You were asking too many questions, he said. And it was such a simple question, said Celia. No, it's one question. I don't have time for too much questions, he said. Which so far you've refused to answer, said Celia. You don't have time to answer one simple question. Ask one question, and I will surely answer, he said. So Celia asked him, where was that photo taken? And this might be a good point at which to say, fair warning, ladies and gentlemen, if you're eating or drinking, please swallow now. Qatar, he said. My previous trip. Really? Said Celia. With a Dutch ferry in the photo? And here's an enlargement of that ferry from the photo. Go away, said Celia. You're clearly lying to me. Goodbye. Have you been to Qatar? He asked. No, I guess. You don't have to argue over my photo, because I own the photo, not you. I have heard so many goodbye, and yours won't move me. The green grass you saw in the photo is, wait for it, in the middle of the sea. Yes, I have been to Qatar, said Celia, and it doesn't look like that, does it? And why is there a Dutch ferry in Qatar? Go to the sea and look around, then come back to me, said our ridiculously stupid scammer. I mean, come on, mate. How will that help me know why there's a Dutch ferry in Qatar, said Celia. It's your photo, don't you know? You won't take my words, so go and take a look for yourself, he said. No, I won't take your words, said Celia. I find it very odd that an eminent politician doesn't even know why there's a Dutch ferry in Qatar. And you're very rude. And she missed an opportunity. She should have asked him to pay for her airfare to Qatar so that she could go and look. It's a sea, he said, and any ship, ferry, or whatever can pass through it. Why is there a Dutch ferry in Qatar? Asked Celia. It's not my country, and the question should be directed to the President, he said. You do know what a ferry is, do you? Asked Celia. Yeah, he said. So why is there a Dutch ferry in Qatar? She asked again. Come on, I'm sure you can think of a convincing, not, answer. Like I said, he said. It's not my country. I'm not convincing you for anything. No, you definitely aren't convincing me of anything, said Celia, apart from you being a total idiot and a liar. To which our man replied, Get lost, and blocked Celia. I hope you enjoyed this second collection of Scamland losers. If you did, I might make even more videos like this. I have plenty of them. If you did, you know what to do. Please like it, please share it, please comment down below. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the notification bell, and I'll see you again in another video.